Of course. My corner, going into the championship rounds, they just kept yelling at me, "You got to close the show. You got to win the championship rounds, because they're not going to give it to you. You got to win the championship rounds." Because it was one round where I dominated in the scorecards. They gave it to Canelo, and that just changed the whole mentality of the fight. They were just like, all right, you got to go out there and win these rounds. You got to go out there and win these rounds.
That night was not just about Crawford beating Canelo. It was also about staying safe from the judges' decisions. Crawford revealed something surprising by saying that even when he felt fully in control, the scorecards were showing real danger. His coach, Bernie, felt the same tension. From the opening bell, he sensed something was wrong. He said that after the first round the team already felt uneasy because the scores looked unfair and threatening. Bernie said it felt like the fight was being taken from them. His words showed the fear inside the corner, where the danger felt bigger than the man in front of them. It was no longer only about fighting Canelo. It became a battle against the numbers written by the judges. The fight turned into more than throwing punches. It became about defending a career and a legacy. Every round became a mental test, not just for Crawford but for the whole team. In that moment, the fear of being robbed felt just as real as the fight itself. Bernie also made it clear how close they felt to losing everything.
But listen, so we was worried they'd just give it to Canelo just for nothing. Just give it to him. So we had to. Bud came straight out. Did you see how he went out there and went straight to him? Set the tone?
Right away.
Oh, my God.
We never chased him. We never chased him around the ring.
No, Crawford never ran.
No, Canelo never chased him.
He did not follow him around the ring.
No.
Crawford was not running.
No.
Canelo was not chasing him. Those lines exposed the real struggle of a corner fighting more than just another boxer. They knew that one bad scorecard could erase everything Crawford was working for. That fear became fuel pushing Bud to press forward and take control of the ring. Every second was proof that he would not trust his future to the judges. Under that pressure and doubt, Crawford delivered his strongest message. Even well-known trainer Robert Garcia shared his opinion by pointing out flaws Canelo brought into the bout. His breakdown revealed something clear. Without support from the judges, Canelo's style by itself was not enough to win.
He's fought the same way in the last 4 or 5 fights. Enough just to get the win, or maybe the judges to give him the win. Throws one punch at a time. One punch at a time. Looks reaches that one part. He opens up. That hook he was throwing over and over. Reaching in with that hook, keeping his chin up, his right hand down. There's a lot of things that you can't do over and over if you have a good game plan. If you have somebody giving you the right instructions. Can't do it over and over for 4 fights. There's got to be correct.
Garcia's words made the picture very clear. Canelo was not fully in control of the fight. He was slipping back into old patterns and relying on the scorecards to cover his flaws. It felt like the system was built to protect him in every round, but Crawford's smart adjustments cut through that protection and erased all doubt against the man in front of him and the judges behind him. Bud proved that the truth could not be erased. Robert Garcia also said that Crawford's focus and hunger stood out in this fight. He explained that the questions around Crawford pushed him to work harder and rise higher than anyone expected.
He's very talented. He's a very disciplined fighter also. He's healthy. And, a lot of people were saying, he hasn't fought, or he didn't look too good against Madrimov at 154. How can he look good? He's a talented fighter, and that challenge for him pushed him even harder to train harder and to be better. That challenge, went up against Canelo, moving up 2 divisions, hearing that people are saying, he didn't look too good against Madrimov, so how could he look good at 68? Well, that motivated more, man. He trained hard. He did what he had to do.
I believe he is highly skilled. He is also very disciplined as a fighter. He stays in great shape and keeps his mind locked in. Many people said he did not look special against Madrimov at 154. They questioned how he could succeed at all. The answer is simple: because he has real talent. That criticism pushed him to train even harder. The task of facing Canelo while moving up in weight added more pressure. People kept saying he did not look strong against Madrimov, so how could he succeed at 168? That doubt turned into fuel for him. It drove him forward. He trained with purpose. He stayed dedicated. He did everything needed to prove himself on fight night.
They've made a lot of money together, and that's what they're all about, the business. You know, I don't know if I don't think they took the fight lightly, because they couldn't have, but because Canelo, from what I hear, is very disciplined, trains very hard. But I think when it came to the game plan or the instructions, could have been a little bit better.
That opinion showed the hunger behind Crawford's performance. He was not just fighting Canelo. He was also answering every critic who doubted him. Moving up in weight turned into his biggest advantage instead of a weakness. What many thought would stop him only made him more focused and more dangerous. On fight night, that fire left no room for the judges to take anything from him. Garcia then turned his attention to the other side and talked about the planning and business around the Canelo camp. His comments pointed to clear mistakes in their approach that gave Crawford the perfect chance to take full control.
You know, I've been on the wrong side, but it's nice to be on the right side. But I felt like I was on the right side. I felt the way Crawford felt. What people ask me, Teddy, when did you know? When were you were so sure he was going to win this fight? You were saying it, you know, a year ago or more. When did you know that he was going to win this fight, that there was no one else? You said nobody can win this fight, only one guy. And he's going to win it convincingly, easily. When did you know that? And I'm gonna say what I really mean, but also what I understand Crawford said. But I said it myself before. I knew when he signed the contract. when he signed the contract, I knew that Canelo was making a mistake. That he had no idea, like he didn't have an idea what Beaver was. He had no idea. And unfortunately, the judges did the same thing they did in the Beaver fight. They scared the crap out of us. They made us realize they were going to rob him if he didn't destroy him, if he didn't dominate. Dominate! I mean, are you kidding me? He dominated!
This idea added a deeper layer to the story. Canelo may have shown discipline, but discipline without the right plan is never enough. It showed how much relied on politics, money, and reputation. Things that exist outside the ring. Even with all that pressure working in Canelo's favor, Crawford shattered what everyone expected. Teddy Atlas spoke honestly when reflecting on Crawford versus Canelo. He made it clear that from the moment the fight was made, he knew this matchup would be extremely dangerous.
I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to give Canelo 2 rounds. 2 rounds! And I'm being nice. I'm not being a wise guy. I'm being honest. I'm being a professional. He won maybe. And if you want to make it a shutout, I wouldn't say you were crazy. Because I don't think I'm crazy. Just a little bit angry sometimes. Because of my sport that I love. That if he doesn't dominate the way he did, they're going to give it to Canelo. The way that one judge tried to make it a close fight against Mayweather many years ago. Are you kidding? The way the Beaver people... In the Beaver fight, I thought Beaver won 10 rounds. They tried to do the same thing. 115, 113? Are you kidding me? Maybe they just don't understand math. Maybe they think that I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they think 115 is 119. Maybe, you know, it's different kinds of, you know, numeral. The way they came up with the numerals, with the math, maybe that's what it is. Maybe, I don't know.
His words showed a level of certainty that only long experience can bring. He was not just calling a Crawford win. He was warning that the judges could still create a bad ending. Like many fights before, the risk of a robbery was real, and that forced Crawford to leave nothing to chance. It had to be complete control or complete failure, and Atlas knew that from the beginning. That is why every round felt heavy with meaning. By the end, Crawford's performance proved Atlas was right and removed all doubt. When the fight ended, Atlas explained it with full honesty. He said what everyone could plainly see. Crawford control left Canelo with almost nothing to argue.
Stephen A. Smith. I did a segment with him. A lot of people saw it the day before. And, I said, I like Crawford. Like I said, when his contract was signed, when it was, and then he was a bigger favorite. He was a big underdog. He was 2-1 at one point, if I remember
That's correct.
correctly.
And it closed at closer to plus 135, plus 140.
Yeah. Once people knew who I was picking. I'm kidding. But I was telling Stephen A. Smith, he said, Teddy, why do you like him so much? I said, why do you like 3D TV more than regular TV? Because it's 3D! Because it's got more dimensions to it. Why do you like digital better than Betamax? I still use Betamax. I gotta tell you, I still got a fax machine, Rich. I do. I got a fax machine. I'm old fashioned. What are you gonna do? But you remember VHS, VHR, whatever it's called, right? All that stuff. Betamax, and then it went to digital. I was the last guy at ESPN, the whole campus, that still got sent VCR tapes. They had to send them to me. I had a cassette player. I put them in. I didn't know how to do digital, but digital is the way to go, babe. It's the way of the future. It's faster. It's quicker, right? You got all the stuff in the air, going through the air. That's Crawford.
Atlas' frustration was directed not at the fighters but at the sport itself. He reminded fans how easily victories can be taken away when judges shift the numbers on the scorecards. For him, this fight was about more than winning. It was about exposing a system that has taken from fighters before. Crawford had no option except to control every second to protect what was his. In Atlas' view, that is exactly what he did. It showed that the only way to beat corruption is through undeniable greatness. Before the fight, Atlas had already explained to Stephen A. Smith why he believed Crawford was different. To him, Bud was not just another fighter. He was competing on a much higher level.
Today I said, Canelo's a nice, solid guy. He went nuts. Solid! He goes, Teddy, he's Canelo. I said, he's a solid guy. His technique, his basics are solid. His fundamentals are solid. He's strong. He's physical. He's moved up and become, solid at a heavier weight than when he started in his career. He's grown into it. He's got great experience. All of that. He's a good, solid guy. I'm not knocking him. In the old days, that was the greatest compliment that the people in my business could give you. Guy's a solid guy. Can fit in with anyone. He knows how to fight. He's a solid guy, but he's not digital. There's only a few guys that are digital.
His breakdown showed Crawford as something uncommon in today's boxing world. While many fighters were easy to read, Crawford brought layers, movement, and sharp thinking that left rivals unsure. Atlas made it clear this was not a guess. It was certainty. He saw qualities in Crawford that no judge could overlook, no matter how the cards were written. That belief was not hype or praise. It came from the vision of a trainer who has seen champions rise and disappear. To Atlas, Crawford was more than a challenger. He was the future happening in real time. He even compared Canelo and Crawford. Atlas was honest but direct. He respected Canelo while clearly pointing out the main difference between them.
Let's see. I figured that at first I was thinking, it's gonna take, a while for that fight to develop in a later round. And if Terence can take them shots, he'll be able to, pretty much outwork and move and be able to, hit him with some counter shots. And pretty much that's what it was. At first, I didn't know if he was be able to take the heavier shots, but then I realized, Canelo, yeah, he's a big guy, but he's not really a big guy when it comes to somebody like a Terence who's has reach, has length, in that aspect, and that could put on the size, and also can box. and he did a great job. When you watched it, he did a great job. He kept with a great strategy, staying outside.
His words reflected the view of someone who understands true greatness. Canelo was strong, skilled, and experienced, but his skills had limits. Crawford, on the other hand, was performing on a completely different level, while others were still learning the basics. That gap meant one thing. No matter how the judges scored, Crawford had already separated himself completely. That space made any attempt to take the fight away pointless. It was the kind of edge that turns a top fighter into an untouchable legend. Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on how the fight went, admitting his first impression changed as the rounds went on. What he noticed showed exactly why Crawford was able to take control in ways few saw coming.
He kept with a great strategy, staying outside, using his reach, moving when he needed to move, and when those moments where he needed to make him count, he made him count because he was able to, because the southpaw, the combinations when he had the chance to let them things go, he did that. He held his ground. He showed that he can get underneath, clinch, hold, and show that he also has the will and power to, keep his ground. So man, he did a great job fighting Canelo.
His reflection matched what many saw in real time. At first it seemed like Canelo's size and power would give him the advantage, but Crawford's reach and skill turned it all around. Andrade highlighted how quickly the momentum swung once Bud showed he could manage the pressure. What started as doubt turned into respect, and in that shift, the talk of a possible robbery became a story of clear, undeniable control. Andrade also praised the plan Crawford used in the ring.
If I'm not saying, I don't think Canelo's the hardest hitting puncher out there. My damn self. Like at the end of the day, yeah, everybody can, knock somebody down or, get knockouts, but we haven't seen Canelo really put people out consistently like a Triple G, you know what I'm saying? Or like a Dimitri Beterbiev. Like, it ain't that type of situation. But I wasn't. He probably did. He probably did fight somebody that hits a little harder.
His analysis explained why Crawford looked untouchable against boxing's biggest star. It was not reckless aggression. It was careful control with exact bursts of action at the right times. Andrade saw how Crawford stayed firm, combined defense with offense, and forced Canelo out of his comfort zone. It was a performance that left the judges no room for doubt and showed that real greatness comes from skill and determination together. Andrade also spoke about Canelo's power, questioning whether it was ever as dangerous as people said. His view added another layer to the conversation.
It was like we had watched a fight before it had happened.
Absolutely.
Because that's the way it went.
In the presence of genius, and you don't even know it.
Absolutely. We actually called it. We said, look, listen, that Terence Crawford would build up an early lead, and when he had to bite down, when he had to do it, that ninth round especially, he stood there and showed that he could trade with him, and he could take the shots, and he could mix it. And the difference between the two was, like we said, Duke, was the combination punching, the ring control from Terence Crawford. They were all the question marks. Could he do that? Could he cope with the power of Canelo Álvarez, who's adapted now and had to adjust in his career? He now throws single shots. And that's why it was the calculated gamble. Well, it wasn't really a gamble because me and Simon called it from the beginning.
Right.
That we go, Mayweather ticks every department. You go, the only thing that people are hedging their bets on is that Canelo's the bigger guy, but he wasn't really anyway.
Nah.
You can see because Crawford come down from 185 anyway. You can see the physicality's in there. He was all the size of...
By downplaying Canelo's punching threat, Andrade shifted attention back to Crawford's composed control. If the supposed danger was not real, then why did the scorecards make the fight look close? His words pointed to the truth fans worried about. It was not Canelo's punches, but the judges who were the real threat. Seen this way, Crawford's dominance stood out even more. Andrade's insight showed that the system could not protect Canelo this time. Spencer Oliver shared his view, noting that the outcome in the ring did not surprise him. He said the fight played out almost exactly as he and others had predicted.
We'd said long before this fight. I just think styles make fights. In Canelo's style, this style of Canelo was suited for Crawford.
Indeed.
He can't throw combinations anymore. There's no more head movement from Canelo.
Yeah.
He tries to walk people down and hit you all over the body and all over the head if he can, but he can't put his combination. He can't sustain the combinations. And what really impressed me about Crawford was the fact that it was a question of like he didn't want to trade off early with Canelo. He traded late with Canelo because he couldn't take his power early. So in the early rounds, he was just pity patting and just tapping him, kept spinning him, kept turning him, and driving him mad. And then in the later rounds, as Canelo started to fade from round 7, round 8, as the pace got a little bit slower, then Crawford's confidence, he was confident enough within himself to stand and trade with him. And even when he got on his side, he was hitting him with like 3s and 4s, hard shots. Constant shots. He just kept spinning him, kept turning him, and Canelo didn't really know where he was. And another great thing about Crawford, he stayed southpaw throughout the whole fight, and Canelo admitted after that he couldn't handle a southpaw. Couldn't work it out whatsoever.
His words reflected the insight of someone who saw Crawford's greatness long before the fight. Every question about power size or control was answered in real time, just as he expected. What stood out most was Crawford's ability to silence all doubts through skill and calm execution. It showed this was not luck or chance. It was mastery in action. For Oliver, it proved that Canelo's supposed advantages were never enough to change the outcome. Duke McKenzie added his sharp take, explaining how Canelo's style actually played into Crawford's hands. He showed why this matchup was always likely to favor Bud A.
Saying, however, Canelo is a legend. I, like you two, thought Crawford would win the fight, and I thought it would be as comfortable as that. I just worried about the Vegas judges, and they were a little bit tight. I thought it was a dominant performance.
Did you see
Crawford.
the AI scoring, by the way? They scored it a draw.
Unbelievable. I mean, that is just preposterous, ridiculous. So, was it a great fight? I mean, it was a great occasion. It was a magnificent 12 rounds, but as a great fight, no. Was it a great performance? Yes. Terence Crawford did exactly what he needed to do. I knew within 30 seconds of the fight that he felt comfortable. It was all about whether he could get into that rhythm, utilize that southpaw advantage. He has the IQ, the ring generalship, and Canelo is slightly on the slide. The William Skull performance, etc. See what Paulie's saying.
His analysis showed how Crawford methodically wore down Canelo round by round. The early patience set the tone, forcing Canelo into frustration and mistakes. By the later rounds, the shift in control was clear. What looked cautious at first became total dominance as Crawford's combinations landed with precision. For McKenzie, it proved that the right style and plan can challenge even the biggest stars. Adam Smith said he had always supported Crawford in this fight. But his concern was never the bout itself. It was the judges. His reaction highlighted how easily boxing can still lean toward controversy.
Paulie's saying, but yeah, don't take anything away from Terence Crawford. This was his coming out party on Netflix, and people don't know Terence Crawford if you walk down the streets. They know a bit about Canelo, and they know obviously the Furies, the Joshuas, but this was his moment, and I always felt.
Were you surprised about his outburst in the press conference afterwards? Because
he pointed to the surprising AI scoring as proof of how easily the story can be shaped beyond what fans see. To him, this was more than a victory. It was Crawford taking full control of the moment despite every outside factor. His skill, southpaw timing, and composure told the real story. The performance was so clear that even the close Vegas scorecards could not change it. Smith emphasized that Crawford's greatness had been fully confirmed under the brightest lights. He then put the win into context, showing it was not just a fight but a moment that introduced Bud to the wider world. His words captured just how important this night was for Crawford's legacy.
The best fighter I've ever seen live when he fought Ricky Burns with me. The only grievance I've got with Crawford is I get sacked after the Crawford fight and lose his first fight. Ricky Burns is his first loss with me in 23 fights. So I wasn't too pleased, but Crawford is a fantastic fighter. Mate, both stances, his balance is fantastic. His shot selection, both stances, excellent. Just a class above. He's just a class above. I think he's one of the best. If not, and this might not go down well with a lot of people, I think it could be the best ever fighter ever.
His view was more than confidence. It was foresight. He explained the adjustments, the switches, and the readiness to meet Canelo anywhere in the ring. It showed a fighter not hoping to handle the challenge, but planning to control it from every angle. That mindset turned the weight of history into fuel for dominance. When the fight unfolded, it matched his prediction perfectly. Terence Crawford didn't just beat Canelo, he overcame the system many thought would favor him. The judges tried to keep it close, but Crawford's performance was so decisive that even controversy couldn't touch him. But what do you think? Did the judges really try to steal the fight from Crawford? Was this the night he proved he is the best fighter of this generation? And what does it mean for Canelo's legacy moving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and watch more videos like this because the story of boxing is only getting bigger.